on Monday Night Football on ESPN. The Minnesota Vikings went into Chicago as 3.5-point favorites. The entire Monday night countdown crew picked the Minnesota Vikings to win. We thought for sure that was going to be a curse to the Vikings, but instead what we found out is what we always thought. That Chicago Bears offense is potentially the worst offense in the history of the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Great defense, great special teams, but nothing on the offensive side of the ball could move. A 104-yard kickoff return by Cordero Patterson. Congratulations for being tied for the most NFL kickoff touchdowns in NFL history.
Yeah.
A pick by Khalil Mack that puts him into plus territory. A great punt return that puts him into great plus territory. And still, they can do absolutely nothing with it. I believe they had like 17 yards or something in an entire fourth quarter. The Chicago Bears, a team that has a pretty good-looking record at the moment. And by pretty good, I mean it's getting worse and worse by the week, but they have more wins than they probably should. That team is dysfunctionally terrible. What's going to happen after this season? Because now Nick Foles is hurt. Trubisky is hurt. They're playing a guy. They might be trying to sign Gary Gilbert before it comes too long up there in Chicago. And on the flip side, the Minnesota Vikings have gotten hot. They have figured out how to play the football. They were playing against a completely inept offense, but to have that happen, that means the defense has to ball out, which they did. The offense, now, Dalvin Cook didn't get going really until Akeem Hicks was out, but that's not their fault. He gets out. He picks up an extra 57 yards basically in one quarter. Kirk Cousins threw a dime to Adam Thielen, who made a one-handed catch while falling, spinning the ball as if he was a bartender with a bottle, spins it on his chest so he can get a better grip on it. Go ahead, clamps it down like a white claw to his chest and scores a touchdown. There's a lot to like about that Vikings team last night, but I think the story of the day will be that there's a lot to hate about that Chicago Bears team. It doesn't matter if Matt Nagy is calling plays. Some guy I've never heard of is calling plays. Who cares? It doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. For some reason, they can't move the rock up there. And I'll tell you what, Zito, Chicago Bears fans do not deserve it. They do not deserve the ineptitude on the offensive side of the ball, because you see Cordero Patterson take that to the house against a team that drafted him first overall and then told him to get the fuck out. You thought like, okay, the defense, Khalil Mack on ESPN, they were like, there is rumors that Khalil Mack is fed up with the Chicago Bears. Chuck Pagano was even asked about it, and Chuck Pagano said, listen, we'll see what message Khalil Mack wants to send to the world on Monday night. He gets a pick, gets some pressures, so maybe he's playing football. But at what point, if you're anybody on that team other than the offense, do you go, come the fuck on, guys? This is 2 years in a row. Last year, the Chicago Bears defense, people were talking about being historic, and about halfway through the season, which is where we're about at right now, they got so fed up with the offense thinking it was obvious that they were not giving as much effort as they were in the beginning. Now, should they do that? No. Okay? You don't have to play in the NFL. You get to play in the NFL.
Hell yeah.
Play to win the game.
That also in there, not really with what I was going with, but there's a million people that would love to have your jobs in the NFL.
That's right.
If you're on that Chicago Bears defense, you're living out your own dream. You have to have respect for the game. You have to give 100% effort every single play. That is a real thought and one that should be taken seriously. But then if you look at what the offense does with how good the defense plays, you can see how every once in a while some of the defensive players for the Bears say, God damn it, maybe I'm not going to run the extra sprint or two that I would run after a Wednesday practice or Thursday practice, because I know if we don't hold this team to less than 10 points, we have no chance of winning. It's a very interesting conversation about what's going to happen in Chicago. Is Nagy gone? Is Pace going to be gone? They have enough wins where they're not going to be high enough in the draft to really get somebody that could be a potential entire franchise changer. Will they trade for a quarterback? They already did that with Nick Foles, and they didn't announce him to be a starter till halfway through the season, really, or a couple games in the season. And it hasn't really gone that well. I mean, what are they going to do in Chicago? It seems like one big question mark is here again. And just a few years ago, if it wasn't for a blocked field goal, they make a real run in the NFC.
God.
In the NFC, this is a tough time to be a Bears fan. Watching that last night.
Well, it's good to be a Vikings fan right now.
Yeah.
Schmidt's Packers. We beat Foxy's Detroit Lions.
Skull.
And then we beat Zito's Bears.
They're done.
So we're feeling pretty good. Do you think Cousins prime time Kirk Cousins is back?
Yeah!
It's good skull chant.
What do you want to talk about, Lee?
do you think primetime Kirk Cousins is back?
Absolutely, dude.
Fuck yeah.
Guy was never gone, bro. See what he did last night? Dropped the ball in a bucket there for Adam Thielen, one-handed catch to go ahead and spin that thing on my chest to make sure it's a little bit more steady for whenever I hit the ground. Then he didn't do the gritty, by the way. Thielen didn't do the gritty. A little self-awareness there. I think he even said one of the worst gritties he's ever seen, but he wanted to be a little bit better. Adam Thielen is so good, by the way.
Very good.
Justin Jefferson, so good, by the
Stud.
way. Kyle Rudolph, that's his first ever fumble in like 130-some games or something like that.
Whoa.
It was very weird to kind of watch Kyle Rudolph. It was almost like I was shocked that it was Kyle Rudolph that happened. Great interview, great conversation, great tight end. First ever They have weapons there, right? So if primetime Kirk Cousins, who I think he was asking about, is something that was born in Dallas last year and then made an appearance in New Orleans against the Saints last year when Kyle Rudolph potentially pushed off to win that game down there. I mean, he said no way, but everybody else said potentially a little bit of a push off there. If Kirk Cousins can continue to ride this wave with how good Dalvin Cook is, look out for them Vikings, boys. Look out for them Vikings, Evan. Oh, no.
They play the Cowboys, Jaguars, and
Someone else bad.
someone really bad next. I'm sorry. I missed
Jets?
that.
Is it the Jets?
No.
Can't be really bad.
Bengals? Because the tweet said
come
those
on.
teams, and it was like, look out for the Vikings in the wild card race.
Yeah, because they're about to get really hot or whatever.
Hey, he can run the ball.
Vikings fans always do this though. Like Kirk plays like shit, and everyone says he sucks, and they tear him down, and then he beats the Bears, and he's the savior again.
What do you mean, the Bears?
Hey, listen, take it easy on the fucking Bears, dude. They're already dead.
Can't throw it down.
Let the body get cold first.